So I started at 222 pounds when I was like, oh boy, I saw a picture of me and I had like, muffin top spilling out. I was a fat boy sitting on the couch. That's when I really buckled down. And so far I just weighed myself this morning. Actually, I'm 179.4 pounds. So it's like 43 pounds, I think. And then
that's insane, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I still got a little to go too. I still got a little fat belly, but 13.8% fat percentage.
Dang.
I got to keep pushing though, because I want to see those abs.
You ever done anything like this before?
I have not.
No?
Yeah.
So nervous?
Little nervous.
That's all right. This will be easy stuff. All right, what's going on, VShred fam? Today, I'm very excited and grateful to be sitting down with one of our VShred members and U.S. veteran, Chris, to learn a little bit about his VShred journey and his personal story with starting our program after leaving the armed services. So, Chris, welcome, and thank you so much both for your service and for taking some time out of your day to tell us a little bit about your story and hopefully inspire a bunch of other people.
Thank you very much, Vince. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
We'll just start with the basics. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your time in the military.
I had 14 years total in the military. I did 4 years in the Navy in 2002. I got out and then I went into the National Guard. And then I joined the regular Army until 2016. I have 4 combat deployments under my belt. I have 2 to Iraq and 2 to Afghanistan. I was stationed in Hawaii. I was stationed in New Hampshire, stationed in Japan, and New York.
So you've been all over.
I've been
done everything.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, if you're comfortable, just a little bit about like what it was like for you and your unit and the types of like day-to-day activities you guys were tasked with and what it meant to you?
I was kind of lucky. All my deployments were different. So my first one, I was at a detainee facility. We opened up a place called Fort Seuss. So that was a little interesting, just working with detainees. I was on a cell block for the better, probably about 3/4 of that deployment. And then I swapped out to the main gate. We call it the Sally Port. The second deployment was, I was working for a general. I lucked out on that one. I was on a PSD team, Personal Security Detachment team, for a 1-star general. So we got to fly everywhere, most everywhere. We didn't really do any convoys in that deployment. Just pulling security for him, making sure that he was protected and safe. Those 2 were to Iraq. The third one was in Afghanistan. And that one was my pretty busy tour. We were on QRF, which is called a Quick Reaction Force, pretty much the whole time. So we were running tons of missions all the time, going outside the wire. We had all kinds of dismounted patrols, met with a lot of locals, had some key leader engagements where we met the local chiefs and kind of spoke with them and had to respond to a bunch of not great things like VBIT. VBIT is a vehicle-borne IED, so it's like they just take a car and they make a bomb and they blow it up. So we had to respond to a few of those kind of things, got attacked. And my 4th deployment was actually pretty chill too in terms of danger, I guess. I was on Bagram, and I was in Afghanistan too, Bagram and Kandahar. And that one was just customs. I was an NCO and I was in charge of like 18, I think, soldiers or something like that. And we're clearing out all the units. We're kind of taking all their equipment and stuff outside of the country, and they had some very stringent guidelines that they had to adhere by to get their equipment to go back to the States. So we just checked to make sure that they were following those guidelines and gave them the approval to send their stuff back or not.
So you kind of jumped back and forth between the really scary stuff and the lesser scary stuff.
Yes. Yeah, it was quite the roller coaster if you like put them all 4 together.
What were some of the more challenging moments or part of your time?
That 3rd deployment had a lot of bad things that happened. There's one instance in specifically that I told you we had to respond to a VBID. They hit a busload of police officers. They just graduated. They're Afghani police officers. Just graduated. They're like, yeah, woo, and they're on a bus going to whatever their base or whatever, and some dude just drove their truck into it, filled the explosives, and killed them all.
moving past your time in the armed services, let's say after your last deployment, tell me a little bit about like what you were going through in life and what brought you to the decision to want to make a change and start a program.
So got back from my last deployment. I got in trouble at the end of my Army career, and I got out. I came home. There's a lot of family stuff going on. My grandparents both passed, and I had PTSD, and I didn't know about it. I was going down a bad path. Slowly, I just realized, I was losing all my strength. I was not fit anymore, getting out of breath all over the place. I looked fat. It slowly built upward until I realized that I needed a change. And that's kind of where VShred came into the picture.
And how'd you hear about VShred?
It's kind of funny, as I saw one of your ads with the calculator thing. That's how I found out I was skinny fat.
Okay.
And so I checked it out, and it looked legit. And so I got the ripped in 90 days. I never really committed fully, I guess I would say, until about 4 or 5 months ago. When I really kind of got my act together. I've been doing a pretty good job. So
what made the difference for you to actually make you want to stick with it?
With the PTSD and depression and all that, you go through kind of cycles and mood swings and all that kind of stuff. And just some days I just didn't feel like going. And once you skip that one day, it's easier to skip the next day. And then that just kind of compounds, So it's like, I got on myself and I'm like, I can't keep doing that. It's not, and quitting drinking really, really helped. That was another thing that was, I'd work out and everything. And then that weekend I'd go party and drink or whatever. And, that's killing all my results.
Right.
And not to mention everything it's doing to my brain and body. So, once I quit that and kind of got a handle on my personal life and all that stuff, kind of fell into place, I guess.
Were there any things or parts of the program that surprised you or were different from other things that you've tried?
Yeah, the first one I started was I did the gym workouts, and I love those. Those are great. And then once COVID kind of hit and all that stuff, and I had let my gym membership kind of lapse, I was like, so I didn't go there anymore. So I started the home program, and that was surprisingly tough to start off with. Like it'd been a few weeks or months or whatever it was since the last time I started again. I'm like, this will be easy. I'm looking at it. It's like, it's not that easy.
Yeah. People underestimate body weight.
Until you start getting into it. And then the hit on top of that, I absolutely love doing hit. Like we did some of that in the military, towards the end of my career when I was a platoon sergeant. I'd make my team, my platoon do that stuff for PT in the mornings, that type of stuff, but I absolutely love it. So far, I have lost, so I started at 222 pounds when I was like, oh boy, I saw a picture of me and I had like, muffin top spilling out. I was a fat boy sitting on the couch. And that's when I really buckled down. And so far, I just weighed myself this morning, actually. I'm 179.4 pounds. So it's like 43 pounds, I think. And then
that's insane, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I still got a little to go too. I still got a little fat belly, but 13.8% fat percentage.
Dang.
I got to keep pushing though, because I want to see those abs. That's the goal.
Good for you. So what's next?
What's next is the clean bulk program. And then I'll probably throw in the arms program too. Throughout the military career, I've been lifting weights and stuff and, and then running or whatever. I didn't really have a good program to kind of follow. Having this all right there for me is great. But I also know that it's hard to put on muscle if you're trying to lose weight. It's really like, it's not, I've tried before doing the heavy lifting and then also trying to lose fat. It's really tough for me. So I figured I'd focus once I lose all this fat, get, a decent basic, body that I can build on. And then I'll go to the clean bulk and kind of, I do that in phases.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see that. So last question.
Yes, sir.
What advice would you give or recommend to other servicemen or women or just other regular people who are looking to regain their discipline and invest in themselves and find their purpose and find their happiness either after coming out of the service or just people who have never served?
Everybody has to find out or find something that works for them. The program is a great idea. When you're talking specifically about like military coming back in and trying to get back into the civilian life, a lot of my friends, me, a lot of people that I know, whatever, we kind of lost a good amount of purpose in our lives. And with the program, it also gives you structure too. So those kind of two, a program, some type of workout program or whatever, hits kind of both of those, at least to the military person, while you're kind of transitioning. Also, one thing I'd like to point out too is the Facebook group for VShred. It's one of the most positive experiences that I've ever had, like straight up, not even fluffing anybody or anything.
Oh, I love it, man. I mean, I have family members who are in there and they love it as well.
And there's one thing that I see a lot in that group. It's called trust the process. And I've never heard that phrase until now when I started, paying attention to the Facebook posts and groups, and it's straight positivity, and it's true. And so if you're coming out of the military, you're having trouble adjusting to civilian life or whatever, you got to stick to it. Kind of stay strong, figure yourself out, get some type of program or whatever going on, and then trust the process, whatever process that may be. It took me 3 years to put on, up to 222 pounds. So I can't just expect that all just drop right away. There is a process. You got to follow that. So
trusting the process. I mean, I get asked about like getting in shape and best ways to go about it, and people getting impatient with their results. And I think that's a solid mindset to have, because people think that they can put on 50, 60 pounds of fat over the course of a couple of years, and then in a month or two, when they're really hitting it hard, expect to lose it all. And it's like, well, it took you a lot longer to put that on. Yeah. And so it's going to take you a lot longer than a month or two to get it off. But as long as you trust the process and you find your reasoning, you find another one I like is to talk about finding your why and why you're wanting to get in shape, and finding like a deep rooted reasoning that's really going to help keep you motivated, especially through the times when it gets hard. Because when you're excited to get in shape and you're excited to go work out, and you're excited to eat a nice healthy meal because you're seeing results, it's easy then.
Definitely.
Easier, but you don't want to wake up and go to the gym, or you're tired from a long day, or you're stressed out, or you're frustrated at something, or you're having cravings. Those are the times when it really gets tough to stick to it. And so that's when you can reach back into trusting this process that you're on, trusting this timeline that you set yourself up on, and also reaching back into your pocket and reminding yourself of why you even started in the first place.
Yeah, that motivation is definitely huge. It's good to have people that support you and that kind of thing too, but you do need to find kind of a reason for yourself. You got to motivate yourself. You got to do it somehow. And it's important to find that, I think, too. So
100%. Yeah. All right. Well, closing out, Chris, thank you for your service to our country. We're inspired by that and by your commitment to yourself. And we're excited to watch you continue your fitness journey. And I, again, want to say thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to chat with me.
Thank you so much, Vince. I appreciate being here.
Awesome.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. I would have never thought that was your first time being on a Zoom call or an interview. You crushed that, dude.